Hey drafters, welcome to Draft Analytics, short, high-signal draft breakdowns to help you improve. Today we're breaking down a draft that didn't go so well, and Pack 2 is where it all falls apart. We'll go over the picks, stats, and synergies, and talk about where I missed my outs. Spot anything you do differently? Drop a comment before the next pick. Let's jump in. I open up a really good pack as my pack 1. In the rare slot, there's a Zhao the Moonslayer and a Great Divide Guide. Zhao isn't that good of a rare, but if you're in red and get him late, a 2-mana 2/2 Menacer isn't the worst. Great Divide Guide is a bomb rare in green with an A- rating and a 62.2% win rate. This is going to be our pick for the pack, but let's go over the rest of the cards that I have here. In the uncommon slot, I have Earth Kingdom Jailer, Accumulate Wisdom, Haru Hidden Talent, and Cruel Administrator. Earth Kingdom Jailer is a rare level uncommon in this set with a B+ rating and a win rate of 60.6%. It hits every major bomb in the set, and you can also use it early and airbend later on to replay it to hit a bigger threat. Accumulate Wisdom is a good uncommon with a C+ rating and a 56.5% win rate. I tend to not like picking it early because there is no guarantee that I will be going into lessons. Haru, Hidden Talent, and Cruel Administrator are the duds of the uncommons here. Neither are first pickable. There are a lot of really good commons in the pack. I have Kyoshi Warriors, Forecast and Fortune Teller, Lightning Strike, and Rebellious Captives. All have at least C rating and a win rate above 55%. I go with the Great Divide Guide and hope that one of the good allies wields. Pick 2, I get past the opposite of my starting pack. In the rare slot, I have Avatar Aang and Yu the Moon Spirit. These both are two of the worst rares in the set, having a D+ rating for both. It's too hard to get Aang to flip in limited, and there's nothing good you want to cheat in with Yu. She's a 3/3 flyer with vigilance, but that isn't good enough for a rare. The uncommon in this pack aren't any better. Serpent of the Past, Northern Air Temple, and Bitterwork are all D tier, with Serpent being the best with a D+. The best commons here are Forecasting Fortune Teller, Watery Grasp, Azula Always Lies, and Rebellious Captives. I believe the pick here is between the Forecasting Fortune Teller or Watery Grasp. Having good 2-drops is pretty essential for not getting run over when on the draw. I think there is an argument for Serpent of the Past because I have the Great Divide Guide to ramp, but I went with the Forecasting Fortune Teller since it's a good 2-drop and an ally. Pick 3, I get past another stinker of a pack. Sokka Bold Boomeranger is not that great of a rare, but it's an ally and a hand smoother. Hand smoothers are always nice as it allows you to not mulligan as much. The uncommons in this pack are not that good, and the commons are pretty thin. The best commons are Water Trap Captain, Canyon Crawler, and Raucous Audience. I end up going with Sokka because it's an ally, a hand smoother, and the rest of the pack was just not that great. The next pack has some slightly better cards. Secret of Bloodbending is an F tier rare, do not pick it. Judy, one of many, is a decent black uncommon, but the pack has better commons, so I ignore it. Almost every common in this pack is pickable this early, except for the Earth Rumble Wrestlers. Even the mediation pools can be picked, as I'm probably going blue-green at this point. I decided to go with Waterbending Lesson, as it's a lesson for Sokka and a blue card. The Forecasting Fortune Teller I have can also make the Waterbending cost of this card a 1 instead of a 2 if I still have the clue. Pick 5 is the first pack that finally doesn't have a rare in it. The two uncommon cards that are left are Sokka's Haiku and Cat Gator. Sokka's Haiku is an okay uncommon, and Cat Gator is only good if you're mostly black. I personally believe its stats are a bit inflated due to people only playing it when their deck is heavy in black. This pack does contain the best blue common, Lost Days, which has a B- rating and a 58.6% win rate. Other commons of note are Glider Kids and Walltop Sentries. Lost Days is the best card in the pack and in blue, so I go with it. I took the Sokka and Lost Days as signals that blue may be open from the right. Pick 6, the cards I am considering are Waterbending Scroll, Union Archers, Origin of Metal Bending, and Pretending Box Bearers. The Waterbending Scroll can be really good if you're heavy blue, which at this point I am, but I think it's too early to lock us into this position. I go with the Union Archers because it's just the best card in the pack. I'm not sold into a second color yet, so I'm trying to keep it open. Union Archers is also a hand smoother. Pick 7 has a pretty late sold out. Sold out is black's best common, and it being unconditional exile target removal makes it very good. This makes me think that black may also be open from the right. The rest of the pack isn't that great compared to sold out. War Balloon is the next best card, and it's just a C- rated card that doesn't go well with our picks. I go with the sold out. Next pack feels like the table is starting to dry up for playables. The only pickable cards here are the War Balloon and Barrels of Blasting Jelly. Again, War Balloons isn't really what I'm doing, and Barrels is always a good mana fixer, waterbender, and late game removal. Because of this, I picked the Barrels of Blasting Jelly. I get my starting pack back with Zhao still in it. I don't think I want a 2/2 Menacer at this point and go with the Rebellious Captives as it's an ally, green, and has the best rating of the cards. Pick 10 has nothing I want, so I just grabbed the Sandbender Storm. Pick 11 contains a Canyon Crawler, which is the best of the land cyclers. It is a 6/6 Death Toucher that attacks and blocks well. The food token can also be used to waterbend or crack to help stabilize. I make the wrong decision here and pick the Fire Nation Raider. I don't look at the stats of the cards when I'm drafting, so I may have forgotten how good the Canyon Crawler was compared to the rest of the pack. Pick 12 still has a Judy in it and Merchants of Many Hats. These are both very solid black cards, and I take this as a strong signal, along with the Sold Out and Canyon Crawler, that black is probably open at the table. Black is considered the worst color for this set, but if you get all the good removal, it can perform well. I end the draft with a Geyser Leaper and Swamp. At the end of pack 1, I feel that the draft is going well. I stayed relatively open and was just picking the best cards available to me. Pack 2 has the worst rare in the entire set, Elemental Teachings. This card is so unplayed that it doesn't even have stats on 17 lands, so it's only worth the gems. The pack contains 2 uncommons that I wouldn't mind picking up, which are June Bounty Hunter and Guru Pathic. The commons of note are Airbending Lesson, Lost Days, and Abandoned Attachments. The pick is definitely between Guru and Lost Days. I go with the Guru here because it's an ally and a lesson payoff. We only have 2 lessons at the moment, but if blue is open, we should be able to pick up some more pretty easily. I'm also pretty convinced here that the June wields. Pick 2 is a pretty decent pack. It contains a Momo friendly flyer as the rare. This card is really only good in a heavy flyers deck, but it is very good due to it causing your first flyer each turn to cost 1 less. Since I'm not that, I have to consider the rest of the pack. All the uncommons are decent. Sokka's Haiku, Judy One of Many, and Fire Nation Warships could all make our deck at this point. Jet Freedom Fire is also a very good card, but it's not in our colors. There are a lot of good commons here. Path of Redemption is White's best common with a C+ rating and a 56.9% win rate. Razor Rings is also a decent white removal. Forecasting Fortune Teller and Deadly Precision would both go great in our deck. I picked the Forecasting Fortune Teller over the Deadly Precision because I know I'm going blue. Either pick I believe is fine though. Pick 3 has a Realm of Ko in its rare slot. This land isn't the worst with a C+ rating and a 57.5% win rate. Unfortunately, the pack contains a Tolls of War and a Watery Grasp. I go with the Watery Grasp because I'm in blue. I only really have 2 black cards, so I don't want to commit to splashing for the Tolls of War. Tolls of War is a very good card though. Pick 4 is another pack where all the commons are better than the uncommons. Flopsy, Boomy's Buddy, is a good uncommon in green, but you want to be going wide, which we aren't doing. High-Buy, Spirit of Balance is just okay. In comments, I have Octopus Form, Otter Penguin, Sold Out, and Fire Nation Cadets. I don't think I'm red, so I don't consider the Fire Nation Cadets. Octopus Form has better stats than the Sold Out, but I don't have any super bombs I wanted to protect with the Octopus Form. Also, blue seemed very open, so I was hopeful to see another, and I tend to weigh removal over protection. So I go with the Sold Out. Next pick, I look out immediately and get an Octopus Form. Other cards of note in my color are Ozai Cruelty and Corrupt Court Official. Master Paku and Iguana Parrot are really not that great. Pick 6, I continue to see good cards in black and blue. Waterbending Scroll, Lost Days, and Merchant of Many Hats are the cards I was considering. Unlike the first time I saw Waterbending Scroll, I'm now even more in blue. Thinking that the deck may be a more controlling deck, I go with it for the card draw instead of the Lost Days. Lost Days technically has better stats though. I get past a pack that really only has a single card that I like to play, June Bounty Hunter. The only other card of note is Union Archer. Union Archer is a good card. I'm just not seeing any good red removal to make me want to go red though. At this point, I also don't think I'll be playing the Sokka anymore. Pick 8 still contains its rare, Redirect Lightning. Redirect Lightning is a pretty bad card, but I always seem to get blown out by it. It has a D- rating and a 50.5% win rate. At this point of the draft, I start making some bad picks that greatly affect the outcome. I needed to start thinking about how am I going to win these games? The answer to this right now is honestly nothing. I have good control cards, but no payoff. I ended up picking Azula Always Lies because I know the stats of it is better than the Giant Koi. However, I needed to stop thinking so much about the quality of a card in a vacuum and start thinking about the synergies. Re-looking at this pack, I am pretty confident that the Giant Koi was the pick. I need to start picking up top end threats that can end the game. My starting pack wields, and I'm pretty shocked that the June Bounty Hunter doesn't wield. During the draft, this flustered me a little bit, but I should have stayed calm and thought about what are my outs available in the pool. Pick 2 had a Judy and Worship that would have been fine in my deck. Pick 3 had the Realm of Ko and Tolls of War, which would also fit in my pool. With this in mind, the pick here is absolutely Misty Palms Oasis. This, along with the Barrows of Blasting Jelly, makes splashing the Tolls of War much more reliable if it wields. I did not need one interaction, so Swamp Snare Trap isn't the pick. However, in the moment, I was not thinking in this way and went with the Swamp Snare Trap. We will see later, but this pick really ruins my draft. In pick 10, the poor picks continue. The Judy and Deadly Precision both don't wield, which starts making me worried that I read the signals completely wrong. Right now, I really need top end threats and 3 drops, but for some reason, I go with the Sokka's Haiku. I let the Waterbending Scroll pick influence me too hard that I needed to be in heavy blue. I already have enough interaction, I need finishers. I'm pretty confident that the correct pick here is Fire Nation Worship. Pick 11, I was amazed that the Tolls of War wielded. Black-White isn't the best best color combo, but Tools of War is a great card and players seem to be picking up black all of a sudden. Missing the Missy Palm Oasis feels really bad now, as I need fixing the splash for the Tools of War. You could always say that the Missy Palm Oasis miss is just hindsight, but I don't think it is the case here. Just like in a match, you need to play for your outs. The Tools of War was a known out and I needed to pick it instead of picking a bad removal spell. I finished pack 2 with a Beetle-Headed Merchant, Master Paku, and Platypus Bear. Just because I made some bad choices here, it's not over. We can still recover in pack 3, right? In pack 3, I open up a South Pole Voyager as my rare. This card is very good in an Allies deck since it allows you to draw a card on your second Ally spell. It has a B rating with a 60.8% win rate. I'm nowhere close to white at this point, so I go with the Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper. This card is a rare level uncommon and is the blue-black signpost uncommon. Foggy Swamp Spirit Keeper has a B rating and a 59.7% win rate. It is a very splashable card even if you aren't going blue-black, as long as you have enough draw effects. Next pick, there is a Bossing Say in the rare slot. This land is very good as you can earthbend almost every turn with it to flood the board. I am unfortunately not in green, so I skip it. The cards for consideration are Teo Spirited Glider, Watery Grasp, and Corrupt Court Official. I have enough interaction at this point and need good creatures. The pick here is Teo. Pick 3, I get a pack with Hama the Bloodbender, Watery Grasp, and Messenger Hawk. I heavily consider Hama here because her effect can be very powerful, but has the floor of doing nothing. With the cards I currently have, I don't think I can have a pick whose floor is a 5-mana 3/3. I go with the Messenger Hawk because I generate a lot of clues and have multiple draw effects. If you look at the stats for Hama versus Messenger Hawk, Hama is a C- rated card with a 54% win rate, while Messenger Hawk is a C+ rated card with a 57.4% win rate. I also really need decent 3-drops at this point. Pick 4 has a White Lotus tile in it, which is an unplayable rare. It doesn't have enough gameplay data on the 17 lands to even show a ranking. This pack seems nuts to me though. There is an Iroh's Demonstration and a Lightning Strike in the pack. Red seemed completely cut off the whole draft, and now I'm seeing premium red spells. I picked the Tools of War because it's the only spell here I'm close to playing. Pick 5 is another shocking pack. There is an Airbending Lesson and a Firebending Lesson, one of White's and Red's best commons. This pack has absolutely nothing I want to play, so I picked the Firebending Lesson. Pick 6 has another Hama, an Iloquentia, and a Watery Grasp. I still don't pick the Hama for the same reason as before and go with the Iloquentia. After reviewing, even though Iloquentia is a better card stat-wise, I don't really need it. I already have a lot of interaction and need creatures. Even if I needed more interaction, I believe the pick here is the Watery Grass over Iloquentia. I lack 3-drops, so holding up Iloquentia feels bad when the next turn I probably won't have a 3-drop to follow up with. Pick 7, there is a Realm of Ko, which is the only pickable card for me in the pack. Pick 8 contains a Serpent of the Past and Lost Days. Since I have a lot of interaction and need threats, I picked the Serpent of the Past. I also have 6 Lesson at this point, so there's a chance I'll be able to cast it for a lower cost. The rest of the packs don't have much decision making, and I end up with an Azula Always Lies, Corrupt Court Official, Watery Grass, Rowdy Snowballers, How to Start a Riot, and a Forest. At this point, I was really not happy where I ended up. Going into deck building, I have 3 cuts to make. I really want to make the Tools of War work, but I just don't think I have enough fixing for them as early 2-mana plays. Because of this, I cut them. I also cut the Rowdy Snowballers and Platypus Bear as they are not very good. I add back in the Guru because I can add the counters to the 1/1 unblockable creatures to put my opponents on a faster clock. I run 12 islands, 4 swamps, and the Realm of Ko. Again, I was letting the Waterbending Scroll influence me too much, and I didn't run enough swamps. There were multiple games where I had issues finding a black source. Because of this, I ended up adding an additional swamp later after game 2. It's now very obvious that back in pack 2, picking the Misty Palms Oasis really strengthens the deck. If I picked it, I could have played the 2 Tools of War with 2 additional plains to have a total of 4 white sources. I could have then run 8 islands, 5 swamps, and the Realm of Ko. This deck doesn't perform well, and I end up going 2-3. I believe it could have gone 3-3, but I punted my first 2 games pretty badly. In my first game, I thought Messenger Hawk would pump on my opponent's turn on a single draw. In my second game, I was missing a black source. I needed to crack a clue and hope to draw into one, but I had already played a land for the turn that I didn't need to. I then drew the swamp, but then I couldn't play it. I also got run over by United Front twice in 2 of my games, so maybe it wasn't meant to be. The deck is a bad combination of draw with not enough draw payoffs, and sacrifice with no sacrifice payoff. I really needed the Tools of War or better top end threats. Comment below what you think the deck was missing. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see a draft that ended up trophying, check this one out next. See you in the next draft.